What's up guys, Doomwake here, welcome back to another video on the channel. We're going to be doing some gameplay today. As always, before we continue, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Can we try and get this video to, we'll say, 150 likes. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the video. And if you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to the channel to help grow the channel. So, in our little metagame breakdown, this is, which is the video that I posted yesterday, this is one of the decks that we talked about as kind of the spiciness, if you will. And even though it's not necessarily anything too crazy, because this deck has been popular at times in the past, it's something we haven't seen in a while. And that is Through the Breach. So Through the Breach is on your screen right now. It's basically, you can put a creature from your hand into play, it gains haste, sacrifice in a turn. The combo is, obviously, put Emrakul into play, attack, they take 15, sacrifice 6 permanents. If that is not good enough to kill them, usually there's a fetch or a shock involved, maybe you can bolt them out with a Snapcaster Mage, that kind of stuff. But basically this entire deck is setting that up. So we have a lot of ways to buy time to get towards that. We have removal in Lightning Bolt and Engineered Explosives. Kind of a cool main deck card, really good against Hammer Time, really good against Rhinos. So I'm kind of excited to see this in the main deck. We have 4 copies of Counterspell, which is just, you know, the cleanest 2-minute answer to anything. It's a really nice addition from MH2, as well as Fire Ice, which apparently whenever there's a split card, I gotta resize the window. So Fire Ice here is, I would say most of the time, the decks that have Fire Ice in it are mainly looking to cast the Ice Half, which is a pretty backbreaking tempo play. Like, imagine if you're on the play, your opponent plays their first land, doesn't have a turn 1 play with the intention of playing like a Wrenn and 6 on turn 2 or something like that. If you ice their second land and they can't play anything on turn 2 because they didn't have a 1-drop, now they're in a spot where they might have to play off curve. Like, do they have to play the Wrenn and 6 that they were planning on playing on turn 2, and they're now going to play their 3-drop instead? You're just really putting them off curve, while also, you know, sometimes fire can shock something, or maybe you live the dream and get a Ragavan in a DRC, which happens sometimes, but not as frequently. 3 copies of Prismari Command, which is kind of cool because for 2 things. One, it allows you to discard cards that you don't want, and you have a couple of those situational cards like Blood Moon, extra Emrakuls, extra Breaches, that kind of stuff. It also ramps you, so going from 3 to 5 is really important in a deck that's trying to cast Through the Breaches as quickly as possible. So going from 3 to 5 is pretty important in this deck. Also, you know, the added utility of being able to shock something, shatter something, so has a lot of good utility in this deck. 1 copy of Jace, which is just kind of like the miser control card when you need to play the longer game, and you know, maybe your Through the Breach stuff isn't good and you just need an additional win condition. Blood Moon is really good in the format right now. It's good against Urza Saga, just good against all the 4-color greedy piles, so excited to see Blood Moon here. Archmage's Charm, again, another versatile answer. Counterspell can just, you know, kind of be a divination of sorts, just a card advantage spell, and then also can steal some 1-drops. And then going over the mana base, again, a lot of basic islands because we are a Blood Moon deck, some fetch lands, 4 copies of Steam Vents, and 4 copies of Sulphur Falls. Now, you'll notice that there's no Spire Bluff Canals because we are trying to play towards a 5-drop, so we don't want that. I'm not sure if you need 4 copies of Steam Vents. I feel like that might be a little too much. I maybe would consider replacing those with a couple more fetch lands, but I can see the argument. So, and 4 Sulphur Falls is interesting too. That's something worth noting there. And then when we get to the sideboard, we have Leyline of Sanctity, which is here for Charbelcher, Thoughtseize decks, and Burn. I would imagine Burn is not the best matchup for this deck, so I think it's here mainly for Burn, but also doubles as cards that are good against Charbelcher and Thoughtseize. Leyline of the Void, which is good against Murktide DRC, good against Dredge, good against Reanimator, that kind of stuff. And then we have Ragavans, which I'm not 100% sure if this is a card that we're just going to be bringing in every round. We'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, I think the matchups I wouldn't bring it in against are like Hammer Time because they have a lot of Mem Knights, stuff like basically decks that have a lot of early blockers, maybe where Ragavan's getting bricked more often. But, like, against the 4-color piles, I think it's good because you can keep dashing it to get around Wrenn and 6. And they're probably going to cut a lot of their, you know, instant speed removal. So that's kind of why we're doing the Ragavan stuff. It's just like, it's like a nice, it's like a nice plan B. Nice, what's the word? Nice juke That's the word that I'm looking for, because if your opponent isn't expecting you to have a lot of cheap creatures because you're a Through the Breach deck, you kind of sidestep them with Ragavan and catch them off guard. And then last but not least, we have a Dispute, 2 Test of Talents, and a Spell Pierce. Test of Talents mainly here for Cascade, Living End, and Crashing Footfalls. Dispute and Spell Pierce good at fighting Counter Wars. So that is the deck list, and I am pretty excited to get into this. So let's just get right into it then. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 1. Alright, everybody, we're back here for round number 1. Our opponent has revealed to us a Lurrus Companion, and we have a hand here that has a cantrip, 2 Through the Breaches, and a Blood Moon. It's awkward because we don't have a basic island. It's awkward because Blood Moon isn't the best against most Lurrus decks, especially on the draw against Hammer Time without a piece of interaction. I think this hand's actually just bad, so I'm going to ship it. Okay, this is, I think, a little bit better. Question is, what are we putting back? I think on the draw, again, Blood Moon is not really where you want to be against most Lurrus decks, so I think I'm just going to put back the Blood Moon. Like, even against Hammer Time, it's a fine card at being able to stop Urza Saga, but the problem is when you're on the draw without interaction, you can't just, like, nothing Blood Moon. You're just going to get your doors blown off of you if you do that, so can't really afford to do that in a matchup like this. I think maybe if Prismari Command was Lightning Bolt, I'd be more inclined to keep the Blood Moon, but I think it's close. We'll just hold up our Opt here. One thing I didn't note during deck building was Opt over Consider, and I think that's because you're playing with Emrakul. You don't want to run into the situation where you're binning Emrakul and shuffling away a lot of cards for Snapcaster Mage. So I could let them get a card with Bob and then cast this on turn 3, which I think is good enough. Like, I'm pretty low on resources. I kind of have to keep this. Like, giving them a card off Bob kind of sucks. But also, if I bottom that and draw a land, it's also pretty bad for me, so I think I don't want to do that. They revealed Esper Sentinel, which is even worse because now I have to give them an extra card if I want to play the iteration on 3. Yikes. Okay, well, this is getting rough. Alright, we need to draw a Prismari Command. I think that's our best draw. Okay. Oh, okay, that is actually quite good, too. Alright, so now we'll fire these two. Doing it main phase, then I'll get a card off the Bob, and I can pay for the Sentinel. That was a good draw. That was a very, very good draw. Now we just need to Through the Breach. This is a Lurrus turn. Okay, that's fine. Giving us a turn of breathing room. I kind of want to just thin my deck. Can't afford to draw more lands. It's as simple as just needing a Through the Breach, right? It can't be that hard. So they're going to Lurrus Sentinel. That's fine. Give me a Through the Breach. Through the Breach, please. Interesting. Would I like to steal their Sentinel? I probably just want to go Island, draw 2, pay, and then if I hit Bolt, I can kill the Lurrus. So let's go draw 2, pay for the Sentinel, and then give me a Bolt. Okay, I guess those are reasons to not pay. But, like, giving them an extra card, and then holding up the Counterspell, giving them another card off the Counterspell, it seems kind of sketchy. Okay. Give me a Through the Breach. White and 1. Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. It is not a Through the Breach. Can I afford to pay for the iteration? Yeah, I think so. I think I have to. Okay, there's our Bolt, I guess. So let's go hand, bottom, exile. And then we can, what, Bolt the Lurrus, hold up Counterspell. Make 2, 3, 4, go to 8. Yeah, it's a little sketchy, but Do what you gotta do. They revealed Colossus Hammer. So we need to hope that they don't have a... Well, I guess even if they have a Paladin or a Cigar to save, we could just counter it, so... Wouldn't be that bad. We need that through the breach. A kingdom for a through the breach. This is definitely not the matchup for Jace the Mind Sculptor. Are we dead to the Saga? Unless we hit Prismari Command, right? So I have to not pay with Jace and Brainstorm in order to beat the Saga token, because my hand just dies to it right now. And if I pay for the Sentinel, I have no 2-mana ways to deal with the Saga token, I believe. It's just too big, so... And that is not going to do it, I think. Right, no outs. Let's just take a look at the deck lists. I guess I could ice the token. No, yeah, because even if I put 2 cards back, I opt and draw the same card. Okay, yeah. Dead. So, I don't believe that I want to do the Ragavan stuff against Hammer Time, because again, they have a bunch of Mem Knights. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really want to sideboard any of these cards. The only thing that I kind of want is... I kind of want to cut this Jace, because I think it's heinous in this matchup. And I guess we'll play a Spell Pierce, because they have a lot of discard. Test of Talents is bad. Yeah, this is fine. I don't really... Like, none of these cards are necessarily that bad, so I don't really want to cut any of them for Ragavan, which is just super medium against the card Mem Knight. Alright, we're on the play. We need to draw the Through the Breach this time. Okay, this hand has explosives and command and Blood Moon. I think it's fine. I think this hand seems fine to me. Not the best, but... I think I don't really want to play the explosives quite yet. I want them to not have the information that I have it. Because, like, now I could even just play it on 1 and pay for the Sentinel and just be okay with that. Because I do kind of want to kill this Sentinel. That card's really annoying. Could also just opt, pay for the Sentinel. Iteration next turn. Interesting. Interesting. I think I'm just going to opt here. Again, I kind of don't want them to know that I have the explosives. Because maybe they're not going to play around it. Okay. Yeah. So now we can go opt, pay, look for a land, potentially Blood Moon, potentially explosives. Probably Blood Moon, right? Let's see what we find. I really want to find a land, though. Love to pay 1. Bottom. Okay, it's not bad. Still kind of really wanted a land there. So I could... I could Iteration, try and hit a land. So I can go Iteration into land into opt. I could fire the 2 things, but give them a card. This is awkward. This is awkward. I guess I could fire the 2 things. Next turn they make a Saga token. Then hopefully I find a land that I can go EE for 0, pass with 2 mana up. Yeah, okay, so let's just go upkeep, fire the 2 tokens. I'm upkeeping it to make them kind of think about Force of Negation if they have another Esper Sentinel. I guess it really doesn't matter that much. There's not really a lot of difference, but... Waiting doesn't really cause me any harm, so... Alright, so they have a land and a pass. Okay, good. We found a land. So... now we could just Blood Moon. It does cut me off of casting Archmage's Charm, but it also shuts off their Nexus and the second Construct token. I think Blood Moon's pretty good here, right? I think let's Blood Moon. So they make a Saga token. Saga dies. Ink Nexus is turned off. I think this is a fine play, because this might get them to overextend more into the explosives too. Yeah, that is totally fine by me. That I am fine with. Okay, so now I could kill these two to cut them off of potentially second white, which I think I like. 2 damage, destroy an artifact. Yeah, I think I like that. Because they might not have a second white. Even if they do, we still have Bolt for the Luris, which is kind of fine. Okay, they have a drum. Let's go Iteration. Okay. Doesn't really matter at that point. I kind of want to cast this Opt, and I don't really think I need the 6th mana source. Yeah, I do kind of want to cast this Opt. I got to cast it main phase because of the grid. Okay, your turn. What do we got? Still don't have double white for Luris. And we're just kind of in the Through the Breach waiting room. Okay. We can't cast Bolt in their turn now because we have enough mana to pay for the grid. Alright, they have a basic mountain. And we also have a basic mountain. Alright, here's the classic Blood Moon game. Everybody loves a good classic Blood Moon game. Alright, pass. I have enough to ice them in their upkeep, which makes them even further away from casting Luris / Pierce to Paladin. The old 5 mana ice. Never paid 5 mana for an ice. Alright, there we go. We did it. We done did it. We have successfully acquired A plus B. Alright, I will bolt you twice. And then you will take lethal damage. Alright, game 3. Okay, I mean, there's really nothing that I like here, right? Like, these ley lines are not very good. Again, Ragavan, especially if I didn't want it on the play, I definitely don't want it on the draw. And Test of Talents only hits instant sorceries, which is not good. Yeah, this sideboard is just... Maybe it's just like an okay-ish matchup, and you don't need a ton of sideboard cards for it, but I don't know. We don't have much. I'll tell you that. So this is some Fire Ices and an Explosives. Yeah, I think this hand's okay. As you've seen in the first couple of games, Fire Ice is really good against them, so... That's a little annoying. Okay, I don't know if I wanted that many Fire Ices. Just gonna play an Island and pass. I could have played Explosives on 1 there, which might have been good. I really hope they don't play Stoneforge. Oh, okay. That's definitely not Stoneforge. Man, Fire Ice has been an MVP this game, huh? Nah, I won't pay. It's fine. I don't need to pay. Fire Ice is just nuts against them. Am I going to play another X1? Oh, give me 2 bobs. Give me 2 bobs. No, that's not 2 bobs. Alright, fine. Fine. I got a hammer. I would like to kill your Bob, so I will do that. I don't really want to give them extra cards. I don't think I wanted to play the Explosives there. Maybe I should have. I think maybe playing the EE there was better if they had a Paladin, which they do have. Well, that's not true, right? Because I kind of want to EE for 2. Like, if they have a 1 or a 0 here, I take 11, but I kind of want to EE for 2 now. Like, if I rip a land... Okay. They have 3 cards in their hand. I think I kind of want to get greedy and try to Expressive Iteration for a land, and then I can go land, fire the Paladin. Even if I draw a basic island, I can hold up at least Counterspell, and I really need to hit a land drop here. So I'm going to Iteration. It is greedy, and... Yeah, we missed. Maybe I wasn't supposed to do that. That was greedy. That was greedy. I'm gonna top this one now. Okay, that was super greedy. I'm gonna take a lot of damage because of that. Although I think if they had a second hammer, they would have played it last turn, so you never know. They have a grid. Okay, so now we take a bunch of damage. 13, go to 6. This actually is gonna work out. Oh, they didn't attack with the paladin. Because they want mana from the court. They want mana from the drum, okay. So this is what, Aluris, maybe? Man, I don't know. Maybe I wasn't supposed to cast that iteration. Okay, so let's go EE for 2, right? Kill these 3, and they have a drum and a hammer left. I think I'm going to main phase it so they lose mana off the drum. Done. I guess I'll upkeep it. Because right now they can't play any spells. So let's just upkeep it. Alright. 3 cards in hand. So now they could put Luris into their hand, but we have a Counterspell and a Charm, so might actually be okay. They have 2 cards left. Oh, we're just dead, aren't we? I definitely did not play around a second Paladin. Maybe I should have done that. Oh, they're not going for it? Okay, well that's good for me. Couldn't they have just killed me? Am I missing something? So they're going to equip the Bob? Oh no, they just played the Nexus. Never mind. For some reason I thought they had the Nexus in play. Okay, I'm dumb. Alright, Bob has been equipped. So now, how do we get out of this? For some reason I thought that Nexus was in play, but it wasn't. Okay, they're at 18. This is sketchy. This is sketchy. So I think my only line is to just hold up ice, tap whatever they put the hammer on, and then try to peel Emrakul next turn. Because I guess I could Expressive Iteration, right? Because I could go Iteration, ice the Bob or whatever the hammer's on, and hold up Counterspell, so because I have 6 mana. So I guess Iteration is a reasonable line this turn. That's fine. Okay, found a bunch of lands, which I don't really want. So I guess we'll do it this way. And yeah, because if I kill this, I just lose to the Bob. So let's just pass. But I need to ice and hope to peel Emrakul. They reveal the Springleaf Drum. Okay. So go to combat. Let's ice this thing. Because they can't equip at instant speed. Draw another Counterspell, which is not really what we're looking for. I guess this turn we could Charm, draw 2. I'm just going to let all this happen. We could Charm, draw 2, and try to find the last explosives, which I think might be good enough. I mean, as is, I can't really do anything about the board. If I steal the hammer, it's still equipped, so I think I'm missing something. Yeah, these cards are not going to do it, I don't think. Man, I wonder if I messed this game up. So the first fire killed those 2. Second fire killed the Bob, which I think I had to do. Then we popped the EE. I guess the one thing I did was maybe I should have waited on popping the EE. I didn't want to give them mana, but maybe it just didn't matter. I mean, I was going to need to pop it in combat anyways. So they just go to attacks, I pop it, then they post combat. So I don't really think anything changes in that regard. But I don't have any else. So that was round number 1. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 2. All right, everybody, back here for round number 2. We don't have any lands, so I'm off it. 2 Sulfur Falls, huh? I do think this hand is a keep, and I'm going to put back the Through the Breach for now, because our hand doesn't really do anything with Through the Breach. We'll find it when we need to. Flagstones of Trocaire. Okay, I guess I'll lean on Island, because I can't cast Bolt on one anyways. I guess leaning on Sulfur Falls is a little bit better if for some reason I need the double Bolt on turn 2 and I draw Steam Vents, but it's not very likely. Ghost Quata. There's that dang Through the Breach. Excuse me. All right, we're just gonna Bolt Thalia this turn. Probably gonna wait till their end step because I don't want them having a Bolt. I don't want them having a Thalia in play. So I think I'm willing to take 2 for them to not play another Thalia this turn. So I would really not like Thalia to be in play. Ambitious Farmhand. Okay, I could time lock myself just to fire both of those. I don't know if that's good. Just like not play the Bolt here. Okay, new plan. Bolt the Giver, untap, fire the other 2. Oh, yeah, this costs 2 mana. Duh. Duh. I don't know if there's a reason to wait, but I'm just not going to wait. I don't know if they have like Ephemerate or something in their deck. Okay, all their stuff is gone. Plains is gone. It's kind of awkward that we don't have a single basic mountain to search for off of Ghost Quarter because they can cut us off second red. I don't know how relevant them cutting us off of second red is, but if they find another Ghost Quarter, they can cut us off red entirely. I mean, obviously they don't know that we're not playing basic mountain, but it's just something worth noting. I'll just pass. Probably just gonna like loot treasure this turn because I kind of want to find that Emrakul, and making a mana's good. Like if I draw land Emrakul, I just have it rolled up. So. And our opponent's got nothing going on over there, so we're chilling. We're chilling. What's this? Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. So now probably kill this loot, I think? Question mark. Yeah, I do kind of want to kill the Stoneforge, so let's go kill the Stoneforge loot. 2 damage, loot. Guess I could also 2 damage treasure. Yeah. 2 damage loot it is. I guess I don't really have any bad cards in my hand, so maybe looting is kind of bad here. Like I kind of want to keep the Snapcaster. I think this card's kind of bad because I can't do it for 3. The only kind I really care about is the sword. And discard the extra fire. I kind of want to keep the Breach. Maybe keeping the Breach is dumb. Okay, now we just need lands. Now we just need some lands. I think they're Ghost Quartering their own Flagstones. Okay. I guess they just want to thin the deck. Probably going to ice them here. I really just want to cycle and find lands. Yeah, I really just want to cycle and find lands. Still have a Bolt, so. How about the other explosives? I said I didn't want that. I said I didn't want that. Sword of Fire and Ice. Okay. Yeah, I can kill that, which I will do because I want to use my mana. Land. Cool. Now we have Snapcaster plus whatever up. If they go to play something, we can just kill it. If not, we can just ice something. Okay, we can Snap Bolt that. They're going to go to equip. Going to respond. Snapcaster Mage. Target Lightning Bolt. Again, we can't cast Fire Ice because the Thalia. Let's go Bolt your Thalia. And hopefully find a land. Hopefully find a land. They could have Solitude, which Solitude makes this deck a little sketchy, but it seems like they don't have Solitude. So, seems like we are going to game number 2. Cool. All right, it's playing against Death and Taxes. Is Death and Taxes a Ragavan matchup? Awkward against Thalia because of First Strike. Awkward against the farm hand because it's just like a 2-mana 1/1 that blocks Ragavan that also gets them a card. Yeah, I feel like Ragavan's just not that good here either. I don't know. These Ragavans are kind of weird. This might be just another matchup where I don't really want anything. Like, it's kind of funny. Like, I think the sideboard is very geared towards very specific matchups, as you can see with the 8 copies of Leylines, and you're just not going to be sideboarding a lot with this deck, like, with this configuration of sideboard cards. And I don't think that's a bad thing, you know? Like, if you've recognized what matchups are really bad with this deck, and you're just focusing on those exact matchups, that's fine, you know? I don't think that's a bad thing, so... But you just have to recognize that you're not going to be sideboarding a lot with this deck, so... Alright, I didn't say much about my hand, just some cantrips, a combo piece, a counterspell. Seemed like a fine hand. A removal spell. Can't complain. Need to find lands, but... Turn 2 Aether Vial, huh? Okay. I am going to get a Steam Vents here, I think. Yeah. Opt. Bottom, I just want lands. Definitely don't want Emrakul. Well, I mean, I don't mind drawing Emrakul, as long as I can find some lands off the opts. Hopefully they put a creature in here, and I can go shock plus kill the vial, or something like that. Please don't play a Thalia here, that would be very bad for me. If they play a Thalia, I probably have to double opt in response, let the Thalia resolve, and then bolt. Because I don't think I can afford to... Counterspell, that I'm not countering. That you can have that. That's fine. That I will not counter. I got a Plains, which they played. Alright, opt. Just want lands. Okay, there's a land. Still just want more lands. Definitely don't want Emrakuls. Archmage's Charm. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to play my land and pass. If they activate the Vial and put in Giver, I will then kill the Giver in the Vial. I think if they don't put in anything, I might just not cast a spell. So I'm just going to pass. See what they do. Okay. So we went to their upkeep. They didn't violate a 1-drop. I think now I'm going to respond because I don't want them having like a Leon and Arbiter in response to me cracking my fetch. But I do still think I want to kill the Vial. However, I don't really care about this card, so I think I'm just going to make a treasure, honestly. Like, my hand just wants mana, you know? So let's go treasure artifact. Yeah, I think the way that my hand is constructed, I really just want mana. Obviously, given that I have this and 3 lands, you know. That's the obvious part, but... I do have to worry a bit about Solitude. Question is, am I playing around it? If I draw a land? Probably not. Probably just go for it. It's a 2 for 2. It's not even like that bad of a trade. Okay, well... Turns out we're not going for it. Thalia and Stoneforge. Okay, the Plains is gone. They got Sword. Makes sense. Oh, this is really awkward. Because... If I bolt the Thalia, they get to put in the Sword, equip here, attack for 3, and get a Sword hit in, and then they have a Sword on this. If I bolt the Stoneforge Mystic, then I'm farther away from casting through the Breach. But it means I don't get a sword hit for a turn because I kill this. This costs 4 mana, which they have, but they don't have 2 to equip after that. I still think I kind of just have to kill the Thalia and then hold up potential counterspell if, like, I absolutely have to. I don't know why I main phased that. I shouldn't have main phased the bolt. What I should have done was hold it up, but I mean, they're just going to equip this anyways, right? Although if they go for it and we have another bolt, it's a pretty big blowout. Seems like they're not playing around it. Okay. It's fine. That is fine. So we take 5. Still just need to find a land. 6. It's funny, they could actually sack 5 lands in the Stoneforge. Just keep this in the sword. I don't think I can counter that, so I won't. Through a Scalding Tarn. Okay, so how does this work? So I breach in the Emrakul. They sacrifice 5 lands in a Stoneforge, and they get to keep a farmhand with a sword and a Forge Tender? And I'm just kind of locked at that point, right? No, because... yeah, I guess no, because if I draw Bolt, I could steal the Forge Tender and then bolt them. I'm trying to think if there's another line. I don't really think I have another line, so I'm just going to cast it. Like, what's my alternative? Steal this, they sack it, I take 1,000,000. Yeah, I don't really think I have a sack. I don't really think I have a better line. But Bolt still would be lethal, because I could steal this and then cast Lightning Bolt. So, if I draw Bolt, I'm still going to have lethal, assuming they sack 6 lands in the Stoneforge, which I think is what they are going to sack. Oh, they're sacking the Forge Tender. Interesting. I'm kind of surprised. I feel like they would rather keep... Like, if they're going to keep one creature and then this, I feel like they'd rather keep this than the Stoneforge, right? Okay, they're keeping a land, which is also reasonable. It makes sense. And now we're kind of just hoping to draw bolts, I guess. Now we get more looks at it, right? So we could charm into bolt. Unless they find Thalia. Prismari Command would also do it. Giver of Runes, that doesn't matter. Alright, well. No sweats involved. No sweats involved. Alright, counter that. They have 1 card. Alright, no sweats involved. Anyways, 1 and 1. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for number 3. Alright, round 3 time. Let's go. We are currently 1 and 1. Oh, I forgot to put the record tracker. I'll have to put that up for the next round. I'm on a new scene in OBS, so I haven't moved everything over yet. Opponent's got a Luris. We have an iteration of Blood Moon and Explosives. This hand is really medium. EE is good against a lot of the Luris decks. So maybe I should keep on the back of Explosives. I'm not really sure about this hand, though. This hand's definitely sketch. Just like playing against Luris with no cheap removal is kind of sketch. But, you know, iteration into Explosives is a decent setup. Let's do this. And I don't want to cast Explosives yet. Okay, let's just pass. I don't want to cast Iteration until turn 3 when I can get full value out of it. Mountain attack with Channeler. Okay. I accept. They casting nothing? Nothing is good for me. Okay, we can just chill. Yeah, this is a good setup for me, because now I'm just going to play Iteration, I think. I don't think I want to Blood Moon them yet. So, let's go, what, Prismari Command to hand, Exile Delta? I think. Like, that makes sense. Play this, your turn. I'm still going to wait on the Explosives. I think I can afford to wait. I want them to play more 1-drops. That's kind of what I'm getting at. This is fine. I can live with this. They have nothing? They keep. What did they keep? Maybe they just kept a hand of all removal? Okay. Well, I guess we could Blood Moon and Bolt. Sure. I kind of want to Blood Moon first. I want them to make a decision before I cast the bolt, like with their black mana. If they okay, well, I just conceded. Never mind, there was no decisions. Okay, I think I finally found a Ragavan matchup. I do think I like Ragavan in a matchup like this. And I'm not a fan of any of these cards. Maybe I want Leyline against Actos. Black Leyline is not bad. What's bad against them, though, is the question, right? Like, are any of my cards even bad? Yeah, that's the problem. It's like, what am I supposed to cut with this deck? I have no idea. Like, all my cards are so good. Is it like a situation where you trim on Opt? Maybe trim on Snapcaster? No, Snapcaster's great in this matchup. Prismuric Command is kind of slow and clunky against Lurrus, like the Lurrus mid-range decks, because they don't play that many artifacts, and you kind of just need a bunch of cheap spells. So maybe it's like cut Command for Ragavan, and just don't bring in the ley lines. Let's try that. I want to see how that plays out. I guess Blood Moon is a consideration to be cut, but like we don't know if they're playing Jund, we don't know if they're playing Grixis. They could just be Rakdos. They just played, you know, a DRC, showed us a Lurrus and conceded. This hand's awesome. Keep. This might be a turn 1 Ragavan hand. This could also be a turn 1 Opt hand if they play their own Ragavan. I could play mine to try and trade with theirs. Probably better to just play mine and try and trade with theirs, huh? Yeah. Rather than, like, Opt, take a hit from Ragavan, maybe find a bolt. If I don't find a bolt, I'm still in a position where I have to play Ragavan to trade next turn, so it's like, you know, it's super awkward if I play Opt there. Especially if I miss on bolt, then I'm just, like, in the same spot next turn, you know? Because holding up Counterspell against an active Ragavan is a losing proposition, to say the least. Alright, so Grixis maybe? I think Jund would play Delta. They know about a Blood Moon. It's a good one to know about. Let's just hold the Counterspell. Just ship it. Ship it. Alright, well, they know about the Blood Moon, so let's see what they decide to do about that. I assume they're just passing. Should we fight over this? I think we should. Because if they want to fight back, I guess the downside is they fight back and then we play Blood Moon versus a Ragavan, which is not a good idea. Well, that's actually insane because now I could play Blood Moon and get around Drown in the Lock. So I think I'm actually going to do that. Because their counterspells are most likely Drown. They could just have a Swamp here, but that's, you know, whatever, that's fine. They could have actual Counterspell too, but they can't Drown it. Okay, Counter Squall? Wow. Okay. Alright. That's one you don't see every day. I mean, they're down 2 Ragavans, so it's not that bad. Probably have Iteration here. That's fine, we can just fire back with our own, hold up Opt, try to find Breach. They're at the magical 15, too. 15 is a good number. Multiple reasons. Ooh, that's so gross, too, because they have to counter this, right? They can't just let us have an Iteration. Flusterstorm, okay. Well, I rightfully did not play my land first, even though we got by Flusterstorm. That's not a huge deal. You're 100% supposed to hold your land there, so. Black. Soul Guide Lantern. That I don't really care about. And they have 2 cards left. If I find a land, am I playing around a Counterspell? I mean, they're not putting Lurrus in their hands, so good chance they have a Counterspell. Was that bait out a Counterspell? It might. I'm going to top it. Cuts them off blue mana. Oh yeah, they have to counter this, right? Because if they don't counter this, then they lose their blue mana. They can't get a basic island with this. So that was a perfect draw. Alright, we fought through 3 counterspells. There's no way they have a 4th one, right? There's no way they have a fourth one, right? They do have a fourth one. Jeez. Could EOT breach? They have 2 cards. I mean, there's no way they don't have a counterspell, right? They just didn't spend any mana, didn't put Lurrus in their hand. I'm just gonna pass. I just refuse to believe they have nothing. I might EOT ice one of their blue sources, depending on what they do. I don't know. They're probably just not gonna do anything again, right? We're just gonna play the staring game. Unless they put Lurrus in hand and hold up exactly 2 mana, which they could do. You're thinking about it, I think. Oh, yeah. I guess they could have Flusterstorm, but I'm not going to play around it. Okay, ice, yeah. I'm going to upkeep search for an island. I do kind of want to get a basic, because I do have the second... Oh no, my Blood Moons are gone, but... I'm just going to go for it. Show me the Flusterstorm. Show me the Flusterstorm. They don't have it. Got him! Alright, well, that was an interesting game. I mean, game 1 was not very interesting, but that was a sweet game, you know, where we, like, forced them to counter some stuff and eventually just got them into a spot where we set up through the breach. So, 2-1. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 4. Alright, everybody, round 4. As you can see, I have the record thing up. Sorry, I apologize for missing that. We had a couple of days where it was just not working. I don't know if the... I don't know what's the deal with that. I think the person that runs the bot... I think whenever there's an update on Magic Online, the bot just kind of gets messed up. Anyways, this hand I think is fine. We got an opt. Playing against Lurrus again. Is that 4 for 4 on Lurrus's? Were we playing against round 2? This person was playing Lurrus. No, this person wasn't playing Lurrus, so 3 for 4 on Lurrus's. Hardened Scales, okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I want that. EE is pretty good against Scales. I will say that. Blood Moon's also probably pretty good. Especially against an opponent that led on Razorverge Thicket and likely has Urza Saga. Although they have a lot of colorless cards, so... Blood Moon isn't just, like, KO against them. And they have Basic Forest. That is resolving. Let me tell you. That is resolving. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Well, let me tell you about my friend Engineered Explosives. Let me tell you about my friend Engineered Explosives. So, yeah. So that's a good turn. Okay, that resolves. I guess I'll respond to that. Why not? Put them all in the bin, pick them all up, put them all in the trash. Arcbound Mouser. Okay. So now I could Blood Moon them, which does shut off Counterspell. I guess I could also just bolt this, hold up Counterspell. But then they just get to Saga me, which is pretty bad. I think I'm going to play Blood Moon. I really don't want to interact with the Saga. Cuts them off white mana too, if that matters. Cutting me off Counterspell does kind of suck, but... if I, like, play the Bolt, hold up Counterspell, like, they're just not going to play into Counterspell because they have Urza Saga, you know? So, like, I don't really think holding up Bolt is a good line when they have an active Saga. Or, excuse me, holding up Counterspell. So, I just kind of have to do that. Which is awkward. Like, we're not in the best spot here. Okay. That card's good. So let's go... If I bolt the Ravager... I'm actually kind of in a weird spot here. So I bolt the Ravager, they sacrifice... Probably... Actually, only have to sacrifice one thing, right? If a modular ability would put one or more counters on a creature you control, that many counters plus one are put on it instead. So if they sacrifice this to put a counter on the Ravager, it's 2, and then modular makes it a 4/4. So they would just sacrifice this one, I guess. Put a counter here, make this a 4/4, and then let the bolt resolve, and their board would be 4/4, 1/1, 1/1. And then I guess I could Shatter Shock. Then they just go sack, sack. And they have a 7/7 Ravager? No, 8/8, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is rough. This is rough. Maybe I just have to bottom it? I don't really know. Bottoming it seems horrible. Ugh. God. Yeah, this card's kind of gross. This card in combination with Ravager makes life a living hell. Like, my removal spells just don't do anything. Oh my god. Are we just dead? I think we might just be dead. Not quite, but pretty close to it. Man, I thought we couldn't lose this game when we had the explosives, but their leftovers were pretty good. Yeah, no blocks. Again, I don't really think bolting accomplishes anything. They just make the Ravager 6/6, or 4/4. I think I have to wait, try to draw land. Okay, land is not bad. So now we can maybe set up, like, Shatter Shock? Yeah. I gotta wait till combat, I think, is the Ozolith. Okay, we can maybe set something up now. But we have to start by shattering the Ravager. And I gotta wait until after combat because I don't want them pumping up stuff with the Ozolith. So I'm gonna go Shatter Shock, I think. So 2 damage, destroy artifacts. And then we'll see what they do. I think they might just make the Zabaz a little bit bigger. Not sure. They might try and keep the Zabaz around. But I needed to wait on the removal spell because I needed to be able to bolt if they go to make something bigger than my bolt. So I wanted to wait in the command so I could also hold up bolt, is what I'm saying. Tricky spot though. Very tricky spot. I mean, I guess I could have waited on the explosives, but they had a Ravager. I didn't want to give them a 4/4 Ravager, you know? Okay, so they're sacrificing the Ravager, and they're modularing onto the Zabaz. Okay, this is going to work out somewhat okay as long as I find another removal spell. Ish. No, this is still bad, right? Because now I bolt this thing, and then they just modular onto this with the Ozolith. Yeah, it's still pretty bad. Still pretty bad. I wonder if there was a way I could have done that better. This deck is really hard to play against. Really, really hard to play against. Oh, they just drew another Ravager. Okay. Alright, you win. Their draws were quite good. Okay, I think Leyline of the Void is quite good against the amount of modular that they have, because this shuts off modular, so I think it's good. I am not a fan of Snapcaster. I think it's too slow. Same with Iteration. I think these cards are just kind of too slow and dirtily. I kind of still like Charm, because Charm can steal a big, if they go all in on a 1-mana creature, you can steal it. Blood Moon's pretty good. I think against Urza Saga. The Jace, I guess, is bad. Keeping, like, a snap. Alright, let's do this. Given how much modular they have compared to, like, the other Scales decks that I've seen, like, they have the Mouser, the Worker, Ravager, and Zabaz. Like, I think Leyline is actually good against them. And they probably have Hanger Backwalker, too. So, I'm pretty sure Leyline is good. We shall see. Alright, game 2. Against Hardened Scales. Somehow lost the game where we exploded 3 Hardened Scales. I'm going to keep this hand. This hand has Leyline, some cantrips. I am Gucci with that. Yeah, I think Leyline is actually really good against them. It's good against, like, some of their draws. Like, this hand's going to be pretty bad if they have a turn 2... If they have a... Excuse me, a turn 2 Saga. But it's going to be good against most things that don't involve turn 2 Saga, I would imagine. And this hand just wants interaction. This hand just wants a bolt or Prismark Command or an explosives, anything like that. So, and we got 2 opts, so I think it's fine. Alright, lane line go. They went to 6. We got a forest and a scales. Alright, let's Optorino. Really think I want lands at this juncture. I mean, I want one more land, so I guess I'll keep one land. Okay, that helps. So now we can just pass. Hold up Counterspell / opt. Maybe they'll double scales again. Now this game, if we explode 3 scales, I don't know if we're going to lose this one, but we'll see. Worker is fine because we have the explosives. They have a Saga. Feels like they might have a Saga. Come on, give me another 1-drop. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nah, I'm good with that. Because we have a Counterspell and a Snapcaster Mage already, so I think it's fine. No, the question is, do I do it now? There's not really a lot of reason to, right? The reason is, what if they play a land? Oh no, because the modular's turned off because of the ley line. I'm gonna do it anyways. Like, they're just gonna go to attacks. So, I'm just gonna do it now. Just in case. I don't know if there's anything weird that could happen. I mean, I guess the reason is hold up Counterspell. So, maybe that was dumb. But, like, they could, I don't know, play an artifact land and have a Nature's Claim for Leyline. I don't know. Alright, Scalding Tarn, pass. We could even go Snap, Opt, and Block. Again, blocking is sick because they don't actually get tokens, so... I think I'm going to fetch before opting, because if I put a card on the bottom, I don't want to shuffle it back in necessarily because I just want to find an Emrakul. Arc-bound Ravager. So it's just like a big doofus. Because again, lane line is shutting off modular. Badly don't want to counter that. I kind of would rather just cast the Snapcaster Mage, to be honest with you. But they're probably just going to hold this up, which is also fine. I mean, their Ravager just doesn't do anything because of the ley line. So let's target Opt. Let's fetch a tapped Steam Vents. And let's cast Opt. Looking for Sir Emrakul. That is not an Emrakul. Alright, let's play this tapped and pass. Hold up Bolt Counterspell. If they do anything fancy, that's fine with me. I don't even need to bolt that yet. I could wait one more turn. Any Emrakuls? Any Emrakuls? Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I kind of really like this ley line against them. They just have so much stuff, right? All of the modular cards. They have this too, which shuts off this. Just a lot of stuff. Yeah, that's fine. They don't even have double white, right? Because this only casts artifacts. Yeah, okay. So they can't really attack. I'm just going to chill. I can wait on Bolt. Oh, or we could just do that. That works too. I'll fetch an island. Because I want to hold up a red source. I don't want it to fetch a Steam Vents. We'll put an Emrakul onto the battlefield. And then I will attack. See if they want to continue participating. Put a counter on Hangerback Walker. I'll respond. I guess doing this now is pretty bad if their last card's Nature's Claim. Okay, this was kind of dumb. I should have waited. Because they could reasonably have Nature's Claim. Bolting this now was so bad. Because if they have Nature's Claim, they can actually claim the Leyline and then sack this in response. So that was dumb. I don't know why I did that now. I should have waited. Because I could have waited until they had to act for the Nature's Claim, right? Okay. Does not seem like they have Nature's Claim. Seems like we are done. All right, cool. Game 3. Game 3. So what do we cut? We cut the 2 iterations and the Jace in a snap for 4 ley lines. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't really like anything else. I definitely don't want Ragavan against like Hangerback Walker and Walking Ballista. Let's just go with this. Cut some of the slower cards. All right, to game 3 we go. I have Leyline. Sounds perfect, right? Leyline, 2 1-drops in the combo. Can't really ask for much more than that. So we are going to keep it. Sand seems quite good. Opponent goes to 6. Opponent is debating their 6. Alright, seems like they have kept on 6. I got a Leyline. What do you got? A Zabaz. Let's do this one. I want to save the fetches. Maybe that's bad, though. It's probably better to fetch first if I plan on casting Opt on turn 1. Just going to take 1. I accept. Urza's Saga. Okay, that one could prove to be a little tough. Let's cast an Opt. Definitely don't want lands. Counterspell, not the, as we said before, not the best against Saga. That was quite a good draw, though. Because that's going to be able to shatter a token and make a treasure, which lets me cast this the turn ahead of schedule. So that was probably the best draw in my deck. Ooh, they also don't have a land. If a creature control leaves the battlefield. So this actually gets around Leyline, so I'm going to counter that one. I could just blow it up with P Command, but I want to use my mana this turn anyways, and I don't really want to bolt the Zabaz. So I think it's just better to do it this way. Could even steal the Zabaz if I wanted to. Which might be a little bit better, especially if they get a drum. So they're going to float mana. I'm definitely fetching. It's just a question of what I want to cast. I don't know. I kind of want to make a treasure. Let's just shatter and make a treasure. I'm doing it now in case they get drum. So let's go treasure, shatter. That's why I'm doing it now. Because I don't want them getting mana off the drum. Might be kind of a spew to do it there, but I think it's okay. Yeah, that is also another thing that I was considering. Because, like, if I wait, they get a counter on the Ozolith, and yada yada. Hangerback Waka. Alright, it seems like these ley lines are putting in work. Alright, let's just go... I'm just going to pass. Probably just go shatter this, make a treasure again. Almost certainly. Alright, never mind. We didn't even need the Shatter Treasure. Opponent's off it. I think we were going to pretty easily win that game. So we are 3-1. It's not too bad. See if we can get the 4-1. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 5. All right, everybody. Normally we would be back here for round number 5. However, unfortunately, the video file got corrupted. The games were not super interesting. We played against the Grixis control deck again. Game 1, my opponent got mana screwed. Game 2... I didn't get mana screwed, but I made some kind of loose plays, and then game 3 they got mana screwed again. So we ended up going 4-1, beat the Grixis deck twice. We beat Hardened Scales, lost to Hammer Time, and beat Death and Taxes. So not the best matchup spread, but I do think that this deck felt pretty powerful, especially if Lightning Bolt is good. You know, like if you're not playing against a bunch of Tarmogoyfs, like I think this deck might struggle against the Jund Saga deck because it has Tarmogoyf and Construct tokens to outsize Lightning Bolt. But I think as long as Lightning Bolt is has a good target and is a reasonable card, I do quite like this deck. It's attacking from a slightly different angle, like if everybody's loading up on removal, and you know these cards that are normally good against creatures, you can kind of sidestep that a little bit, and you have some additional utility in the sideboard with Ragavan and some of those matchups. So the one thing I will note is I kind of want more copies of Expressive Iteration. I think maybe the Blood Moons could be relegated to the sideboard, and maybe you might want to cut one of the ley lines. But as I said, you know, the ley lines are there for they're there for a purpose. You know, there's definitely a reason they're there, and I'm sure that the person who made this deck did have certain matchups in mind when they built the sideboard. But anyways, again, I apologize for the lack of round 5 content, but I promise it wasn't super interesting. But 4-1, so not too bad. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the video, and with that, I will see y'all in the next one.